Hi everyone, this is Julianne Victoria of Through the Peacock's Eyes. Welcome to my channel and welcome to the 2021 Year Ahead Vedic Astrology readings. These readings will be based on your Vedic Astrology ascendant or moon sign. You can listen to both to kind of get a fuller picture of the year ahead. If you don't know your Vedic Astrology ascendant or moon sign, you can Google search a free online Vedic Astrology calculator and you should be able to get those there. Make sure it says it is Vedic Astrology or Indian Astrology or Sidereal Astrology so you can get the correct signs. And they'll likely to be a sign different than your Western astrology ones, though there is a little overlap in there as well. Now, during these videos, I may reference a few of the things, the books, the decks I've created that I created to help other people learn Vedic astrology. The first one is my book, Shedding Light on Jyotisha, Vedic Astrology for Beginners, and I have a video or two on my channel where I talk about that a little bit more in depth, but the links are all down below in the description box if you're interested in checking that out. I also have a Vedic Astrology Oracle and the Vedic Astrology Study Deck, which would be a great tool to learn Vedic astrology. I also have a course, Shedding Light on Your Karma and Dharma in Vedic Astrology. It's a mini course. It's about an hour and a half long. Bunch of little videos broken up, and it's only $11. Again, the link is below if you want to check that out to start to learn how to look at your chart and look at your karma and dharma. Like, why are you here? What are you here to do? What are you here to learn? How are you here to grow? I will be hopefully soon in the new year have my next course, which I go through the nakshatras in Vedic astrology. Journey through the nakshatras is probably the title. I haven't officiated that yet. So hopefully that will be out soon or in the early part of 2021. And if you're interested in a reading for the year ahead, Vedic astrology, I also do Western astrology, tarot readings. Those you can purchase on my website. I will be reopening readings November 22nd or so. I've been closed for a while to focus on my book. So you can sign up for my newsletter to be notified or just check back to my website, juliannevictoria.com. Again, links are all below if you want to book a reading with me or schedule a recorded reading for the year ahead for you. Okay, all that being said, let's move on to your horoscope for the year ahead. The charts you will see will be charts laid out based on your ascendant or moon sign. So you, the viewer, can have a clearer understanding of where the transits are as the year begins and how that lays out for you for the year ahead. All right, thank you everyone and enjoy your reading. Hi Cancer, welcome to your 2021 year ahead Vedic astrology horoscope or reading. So the chart you see here is where the planets are as the year begins on January 1st, 2021. It gives sort of like a roadmap for the year ahead. Let's start with the first house. So I have it set up where Cancer is the first house. So if you're familiar with your natal chart or you have a copy of it, you can see how this overlays on top of your chart and interacts with the planets there. So let's start with the first house. As I mentioned, you're the sign of Cancer, and this is for Cancer ascendant or Cancer moon, and the moon happens to be in Cancer as the year begins. So you have your ruler in your first house of the self, your identity, your personality, your physical body and form. It's you. Right here as the year begins. So many Cancers out there, again, this also depends on your natal chart, are going to feel very in tune with themselves, with their identity going into 2021. Now, as you know, the moon and Cancer represent emotions, intuition, as well as things like mother. And this can also indicate that the year starts off and throughout 2021 that you feel more emotional. That could be emotional ups and downs, which Cancer, you tend to flux because the moon changes phases regularly, right? But what I'm feeling here mostly is that your empathic awareness and your intuition, and I want to say psychic abilities enhance or develop or come to your awareness this year. Now, Cancer, you're usually pretty intuitive. And if you've been, for some reason, not aware of that, you're definitely going to be aware of it this year. And I would say the most important thing here is to trust the emotions that come up, trust what you feel, trust however your intuition comes to you. Often it's through emotions or even through your physical body. Like you'll feel sensations, like let's say your best friend has a headache, you might feel his or her headache. So trust however you get your intuitive and psychic messages. This is a year to really hone these skills. Okay. Now, opposite your first house, we have your 7th house of relationships, specifically partner, spouse. But I include any close relationships and partnerships like best friends, business partners, and so on. So in your 7th house, you have the Saturn-Jupiter combination. Saturn and Jupiter have been dancing together and a little bit apart and back together. They're it's approximately a 2-year time frame where they're in this conjunction and a little bit out and then back in. I did make a video where I talk about this. I will pin it to the top of the comments below if you want to check it out to get a better idea of how to work with their energies together. But that's the important lesson with this conjunction, is working with their energies together. They can seem quite opposite, right? Saturn is restriction and Jupiter's expansion. Saturn is slow and Jupiter wants to grow. But in this combination, as I've said in many videos this past year, Saturn has the upper hand. And that is because Saturn rules Capricorn, so he's very strong here, and Jupiter is debilitated in Capricorn. So that doesn't mean Jupiter's energy is like washed out. It needs to work with Saturn's energy. So Saturn is patience, taking things slow, being disciplined, hardworking, building solid foundations. Jupiter's growth and expansion, and his negative side of excess is actually like impeded by this debilitation. So that's debilitation in some ways can be a good thing, and that's a good thing. So this is your 7th house of relationships. And this combination can mean a very solid relationship comes into your life this year, or a relationship you're in solidifies and Saturn brings in long-term energy. As long as you don't try to rush a relationship. So let's say you've been seeing someone, or maybe you're even married. This will deepen the bond. This will grow your relationship. It may come through challenges with Saturn here. But if you work with those challenges, it can intensely deepen bonds with your spouse or partner, or even best friend or business partner. If you're just dating someone, or you're looking for a relationship and you're single as the year ahead begins, or even in late 2020, as these energies are already here, this can bring in someone with whom you will be with for the long term, which could be like the rest of your life, if that's what you're looking for. But again, there might be some challenges. Let's say you're single as the year begins and you meet someone and you really like them, but it's going really slow. Don't rush it. Saturn, don't rush it. Take your time. You take your time with things. You put in the time and effort. You work with the challenges and obstacles that come up. Then Jupiter's energy gets to bring in that good luck for you. Okay, so though, again, things may seem slow, painfully slow at times, or there's just obstacles, or there's distancing between you and someone close, social distancing, physical distancing, or there's just periods of like one or both of you are just too busy. Don't panic, don't freak out, accept it, and let Jupiter's energy grow. It's like that can bring in like incubation periods for the relationship. So work with this energy. It's actually can be really great for relationships as long as you don't fight it or rush it. Okay. Jupiter, so Saturn's here all year, if you're curious about transits, and into 2022. And Jupiter is here until mid-April when he moves into Aquarius, where his energy is a little bit more freer, even though Saturn also rules Aquarius. He moves back into Capricorn September till the end of November, and then back into Aquarius December and into 2022. And I believe he whips through Aquarius in 2022. Yeah, so work with this. Work with this. It can be really good for those of you in a long-term relationship or who are looking for a long-term relationship. If you're not, this can be, great for best friends and business partnerships and so on. Okay, let's move over here. Your 10th house of career. We have Mars in his own sign of Aries. So Mars is very strong here. Mars is action, activity, energy. He can also be conflict. For the most part, I've not felt his conflict energy because I think he's just very happy to be here in Aries. And I only felt conflict for one sign. I'm not feeling that for you. What I am feeling here for your 10th house of career is like, let's go. Let's do it. I have the energy. I want to, because it's Aries, it could be start a new direction in my career, or just kickstart my career, or bring some new energy into my career path. This is great for kicking off the new year career-wise. Yeah, it's because Mars is also drive and passion. Like passion either increases or gets sparked in your career path. And again, it could be by steering it in a new and different direction or adding a new element in, or it's just that new energy comes in for your work and career. So that is all really good there too. Yeah, I want to say some of you really be like, have that go-getter energy for your career path. Let's talk about the nodes next. So we have Rahu, also known as North Node, here in Taurus in your 11th house of gains from career, but also your social house, friends and acquaintances and network. And then it's also a house of ambition, which I want to point out because you have this like very fired up, passionate Mars go-getter energy in your career, and you have this ambition energy to bring in gains from your career. Doesn't mean it all comes in this year, but it's like putting that there's just this drive for your career and the gains of it. So Rahu, as I was mentioning, I was going to move over, but I'm going to finish here. Rahu is, again, drive, motivation, ambition in the house of ambition, in your social house as well, your networking house. So there's a lot of energy to network, whether that's for your career or personally, and to meet lots of people, to meet new people. And that I feel like is a bit of a rebound from any lockdown, shutdown, separation, from 2020, though 11th house can be meeting more people online as well. There's a feeling of coming out of your shell a little bit. And a big part of that is probably because the moon is, your ruler is in Cancer as the year begins, and you're really feeling more in your element than you have in a while. And so there's could be like, oh, I'm going to meet people, whether it's online or in person, and just build my network and connect and promote myself in my career, whatever it might be. So there's a lot of vibrant energy here for you, Cancer, which is really nice. Like I'm you can't see me, but I'm like kind of bouncing. That's the energy I feel. Now, opposite Rahu is Ketu. They're always opposite each other. These are the karmic nodes. Ketu would be South Node. I want to point out in Taurus and in Scorpio, in some sources, they're considered exalted here. Others, they're considered debilitated. Other sources say it's Sagittarius and Gemini. Though I do feel they're slightly stronger in this position. They are the karmic nodes, and they're pretty strong wherever they are transiting or placed in your natal chart. So K2 here, what I've been feeling with K2 in all these 2021 readings is that K2 is representing the past of 2020. Now, in the natal chart, he represents past karma, past lives, also spiritual seeking, the past in this life. But this feels very much of like what we're moving away from 2020, what we've learned from the experience of separation and social isolation from 2020, and anything personal where you might have separated or removed or lost something in your life in 2020. because K2 represents separation as well. But also like the shifts, the changes that have altered your spiritual path. Because this is in very mystical and transformative Scorpio. And the nodes have been in this position since September 2020, and they will be here until March 2022. So K2 is here in your 5th house of creativity. It's also, and this came up in a few of the other readings, and I don't often mention this, it's also the house of entrepreneurship, because you're creating a business, you're creating something yourself. It's also house of romance, which is nice because you have Venus here, love, in conjunction with what's going on in your 7th house. That is nice. But when it comes to creating what you want, whether it is a business, just being creative in general, and you have, again, Venus here, Venus besides love is creativity, the arts, music, beautiful voice, luxury, anything that is aesthetically pleasing. This is great for all those creative Cancers out there who are artistic or crafty, and you want to create things. Again, it could be creating, especially with this career energy, your career path anew or brand new or new elements, because you have all that drive and determination and energy there for your career. And especially if it's a side business, your own business, there is lots of supportive energy and creative energy for that this year, which is really nice. But I also feel like this combination, like whatever your individual experiences have been of 2020 and all that's gone on globally, as well as whatever's gone on for you personally, that has cleared out some energy, that has opened up space for this creative Venus energy to come in, which is really nice. And that supports, because the nodes are opposite, the ambition and drive to bring in gains from your career, but also to connect to other people. And I should point out, Venus rules Taurus, where North Node is. So that adds another connection to this. Okay. So share what you create. Share it online. Market it. Promote it. Talk about it. Share it with all your friends. If it's work related, share it with your work network and see what happens. Okay. All right. Cancer, I was just thinking, did I miss something? No, we covered everything. Oh, no, I did miss one thing. Last but not least, I felt like I missed something and I was about to wrap up. Last but not least, we have the Sun and Mercury here in the sign of Sagittarius in your 6th house. So 6th house is a house of work, which may or may not be connected to your career, but it's like your everyday stuff, your everyday work, your chores, your errands, house of health, your daily routine, your health routines, and so on. We have the Sun and Mercury here, and the Sun in these charts. So in a natal chart, the Sun represents the soul, your eternal self. And in these 2021 readings, what I've been feeling with the Sun is where we shine our brightest and where our greatest joy and happiness comes from in 2021. Not that there isn't joy and happiness elsewhere, of course. But we have the Sun here in your 6th house of work. So I do feel like part of that is related to your career or your business, or both. If you're starting a business and you're excited about creating it and driven and passionate, you might be working another job at the same time. But whatever it is, like your work brings you great joy. So I will also say, with Mars here in your 10th house, any Cancers who have been not following their passion, who are not excited about the work they do, 2021 will bring about a shift in that to where you're doing more of what you're passionate about, even if it's something you have to create and do on the side while you maintain the job to pay the bills. But there's a lot of fire and excitement for your work and career and ambition, a lot of ambition. It's a very ambitious year. It's nice to see that. And you're feeling very much in your element, Cancer. That doesn't mean you haven't had any of that in the past, but there's a big energetic boost this year. When it comes to health, with the Sun here in the 6th house for the year ahead, It's important to make sure you get enough sunlight, vitamin D. I feel that's specific for some cancers out there. So getting enough vitamin D, I feel, is important for you. Yeah. And it could just be like having a new health routine, or if you already do this, that's great, of going for a walk in the sunshine, you know, every day or every other day or whatever it is. But getting out and getting some sun for your health is important. Now, we also have Mercury here. Mercury is the intellectual mind. And I want to say study and reading. I see reading a lot. I see like a pile of books. So bringing in reading or studying something into your regular everyday routine. That could be reading one page in the morning. Oh, I actually also see journaling before going to bed, or journaling in the morning. Reading and journaling. And it might be dream journaling. And I say that because Mercury rules Gemini as well as Virgo. But Gemini is your 12th house of the dream time and the psyche. So reading and journaling as part of your everyday routine. I feel that gives you it brings in some balance, because there is so much work and ambitious and creative career energy here, that brings in a more, helps you connect more to your inner self, which you need because you're Cancer, and of course the moon is on your ascendant, where you can maybe journal out your intuitive insights and what you experienced, or your dreams, and it could be excuse me, it could be that Cancers have enhanced dreams this year with the moon on your ascendant too. So journaling and writing as part of your everyday routine will be beneficial and bring in some balance to all the bright, energetic, ambitious, creative energy that you have for this year of 2021. It helps you to organize and ground all that. Okay, Cancer, that is your 2021 year ahead overview. Thank you for watching. Share this with other Cancers whom you know, and thank you for liking and subscribing, and I'll see you back here soon.